I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, aka Doc, with another one of these little videos designed to help you to get through these strange days in which we find ourselves in these yet remain strange days indeed. They really do. I'm talking this week about making change because we are in a time of exponential change. And how you deal with change determines whether you're going to succeed or fail in life. Change is inevitable, pain is optional. That's one of my famous little sayings. There's a story in the Bible about exponential change. Peter's on a rooftop in Joppa. 3 times a sheet comes down, opens up, and all kinds of unclean animals come out. And each time a voice says, "Arise, kill, and eat." And he's laying there in a trance, hungry. And he said, "Not so, Lord, I've never eaten anything that's unclean." On the 3rd time, the voice said, "What God has cleansed, call thou not uncommon." And with that, the Gentiles were ushered into the church. Up until this point, everyone that was a believer was first a Jew, and then they became a Christian. Now suddenly you've got Gentiles that are becoming Christians without first becoming Jews. Now, that was a shock to the system, literally a shock to the system, because up to this point, the church had a common background, they had common customs, they had common mores, they had a common way of looking at things, and suddenly they have these Gentiles coming in, and they look at things from an entirely different perspective. They don't have the same customs, they don't have the same mores, they don't have the same philosophical background, and all of a sudden, they're Christians? I don't think so. And there was a struggle in the early church over this time of exponential change. Well, what can you draw from the story? To change in the times in which we live, because these are, as I said a moment ago, these are times of exponential change. You develop your spiritual sensitivity, talked about that on Monday. You think higher thoughts, talked about that on Monday. You open your eyes to visionary experience. You look beyond where you are, first to where you want to be, and secondly to what's actually going on in the world around about you. Open your eyes and be visionary. The future belongs to visionary people. I love a story that I read one time. I'm not certain that it's true or not. It was an owner of a whale oil company that was interviewing a prospective salesman, and he said, "I like you. You see the value of whale oil. You're not like that guy Edison I just kicked out of here." Of course, Edison invented the electric light. The electric light put the whale oil business out of business. What's putting your business out of business, and what business opportunities are going to open up because of this exponential change in which we find ourselves? Open your eyes to visionary experience. And then, and this sounds counterintuitive, question the need to change. Each time Peter said, "I've never eaten anything that's unclean," he questioned the need to change. Question the need to change. You say that is counterintuitive. Well, the Bible said, Proverbs 24, verse 21, "Meddle not with them that are given to change." Now, I am an agent of change. I like change, but I understand that all change is not good change. I'll give you a really simple example. I use a notebook to preach out of. Now, many of my friends and contemporaries use iPads, PC computers, even their smartphones, and all the notes are on their iPad, their PC computer, or their smartphone, and they preach out of that and look really cool carrying that iPad around, carrying that little smartphone around and preaching from the notes. Very contemporary, very contemporary. Someone asked me one time, they said, "Well, why don't you use your iPad?" And I just looked at them and I said, "Watch this." And I picked up my notebook from about 4 feet in the air, and I let it drop, and I reached down, I picked it up, and I opened it up, and there were the notes that I was going to be preaching. I said, "Try that with an iPad." No, I like computers. I have a smartphone. I'm on the computer all the time. But when it comes to my notes, I want my notes on paper, in black and white, with some color highlighting, in my custom-made notebook. Why? Because some change is good change. Some change really isn't good change at all. You need to understand the changes that you need to embrace, and then the changes you need to let go. Then number 5, in a time of change, remember that life is a journey and it's not a destination. That is cliche, but it's a true cliche. Life's a journey. And even though you may see some setbacks in the journey, even though you may not like the directions you're taking on the journey, if you just keep on going, you're eventually going to get to your destination and look back on a life well lived. And really, that ought to be your goal. That ought to be your goal. Living a life that is well lived. This Sunday at Aspire Church, Reigning in Life. Speaking about a life well lived. It's a message that will help you to reign in life and experience all that God has for you. Catch it on the live stream at aspirechurch.tv or catch it on Facebook at Aspire Church TV. Live stream aspirechurch.tv, live Facebook, Aspire Church TV, Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. It is going to be powerful. I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman. I have some thoughts on Friday about making change that'll help you to negotiate the exponential changes that we are experiencing in our world today. I'll see you then.